Hello once again everybody, this is Claydamus, and I'm doing a different style video for myself today. I'm going to do a first impressions video for the new game For Honor. This game was released on Valentine's Day 2017, and it's a game that I personally have been anticipating for a very long time, mainly due to the different style of gameplay. I've been playing shooters for a decade or better now, so I was kind of looking forward to a whole different mechanic style and a whole different way to play the game. One of the first things that immediately jumped out to me was the graphics quality in the game, and I understand that that's pretty well standard for games nowadays and given the technology age and high definition age that we live in, but this one to me really jumped out with all the scenery and the inanimate objects and things, how beautiful they were, even down to the actual battles themselves and the attention to detail that Ubisoft gave to this stuff. It's a very beautiful game. I was really blown away with that immediately, just at how much attention was given to detail. Aside from the graphics quality, the next thing you noticed is the mechanics of the game. It's beautifully done. It's very simple to pick up and play, but it's pretty difficult to master, and that's what I love about games like this, that anybody from a 5-year-old kid all the way up to a 50-year-old kid, I guess kid really if we're all still playing games, but a 50-year-old person could play this game and be able to just pick up and play, because it's very simple button layouts and not a real complicated structure to play the game. But to get really good at the game, it's going to take a lot of practice and a lot of patience to master a lot of the skills and timing and mechanics and things like that of the game. The game starts you out doing a tutorial, as most games of this style do, and it's really good about teaching you just the basic button layout, and you start out at the very simplest maneuvers and you work your way up until you're using some of the special abilities and things like that. If I remember correctly, I believe the game has 12 initial characters, 4 for each different type of faction, be it the samurais, the Vikings, and the knights. And that's kind of a neat little element. It's not like you're choosing one side or the other. I kind of like the 3 different factions and different styles, but as far as the tutorial goes, it does a really good job of breaking it down to very minute details, and you kind of work your way up. You begin doing moves against basically dummies or something of that nature in the beginning, just practicing your basic movements and ability to look at different enemies and things like that, and you graduate up to actually using your abilities and your attack moves and defensive moves and things like that against actual enemies or AI enemies. Once you have completed the initial tutorial, it then drops you into battle scenarios to where you have to fight AI characters, all the way from the minion soldiers up to kind of like moderate difficulty soldiers, then on to the bosses, basically, essentially the equivalent to playing online or in PvP matches. So it quickly thrusts you into playing against the type of competition you're going to be playing, especially if you're into the online aspect. I could tell very quickly, based upon how it played, that it's going to be the type of game that you're going to have to spend a lot of time playing bots and getting used to the timing and when to use attacks, when to guard, things like that. Like I said earlier, it's very simple on the surface, but to get good at the game, you're going to have to spend a lot of time playing in those types of game modes. In the online stuff, they do offer the opportunity to play against bot matches. You can play with real teammates against bots, and I thought that was a really good feature because they were very understanding that you're not going to initially be able to just jump right in and fight other people and be effective. So I spent basically the first, I'd say, 4 hours roughly playing the game in just AI bot matches online to get used to timing, used to teamwork, and things like that. And that does lead me into the next important fact, that this game is going to require teamwork. As you rank up and as people learn the game and get good at the game, teamwork is going to be essential. It's going to be heavily reliant on communication and spotting and things like that, but as well as letting your teammates know what's going on so that they can assist you in certain situations, and 2-on-1 fights and things like that become vital as you get later on into the matches. At the time of this recording, I've only played, I think, 2 or 3 player versus player matches. I've won them all up to this point, so I guess I'm going to have a false idea of how difficult the online gameplay really is, simply because I spent so much time playing the bots and things that I feel like I got the mechanics down faster than a lot of people that just throw themselves into player versus player matches without really taking into account they don't know what in the heck they're doing yet. So I can't really vouch for how difficult the player versus player is going to be at this point, but I'm sure just like in most games, as everybody learns the style of play and how they like to play, it's going to be more difficult and going to gradually be a game where you're going to see the people who are really good at the game move up and do better, and you're going to see people who are not so good at the game start to either get weaker in the game or go to other games altogether. So to sum up my initial thoughts on the game, I think this is going to be a really good game, but I don't know what kind of shelf life it's going to have, simply because it does seem to get a little monotonous at times with some of the battles, especially when you're playing the bot battles and things like that, because you quickly can overwhelm bots in that your skills should develop fast enough that after probably, I would say, 5 to 15 matches, somewhere in that neighborhood, you should be good enough at the mechanics and the gameplay to be able to move on to player versus player matches. So to vouch for how long this game is going to last and that it's going to be a top echelon game, I don't really know at this point. I feel like it may fall kind of in the neighborhood of an Assassin's Creed style game or a Titanfall game, in that it's going to have a dedicated core of people that play it, but to the general gamer just picking up the game and playing, I don't know if it's going to capture the attention for a long period of time, and that's really a shame. It's kind of like I told someone last night, I feel like it's going to be the best game nobody's playing in 2 or 3 months once some other big titles over the summer hit. So we'll see how that plays out. My opinions may change a little bit as the difficulty gets harder in player versus player matches and things like that, but right now I think it's a very solid game. I think it's a game that you would enjoy playing if you would give it a try, especially if you're like me and you're just tired of first-person shooters over and over. So I would say at this point, give it a try, pick it up, see what you think. PlayStation has the cool feature where you can share play, so if you've got a buddy that has it, maybe they'll help you out and let you try it that way. They did an open beta, and I actually didn't get into the beta because I already had the game pre-ordered, so it didn't matter to me either way. I didn't fool with it. I just waited for the initial game to come out. So I would say give it some time, see how it plays out. If you're really anxious to play something different, it's a great game to pick up and try. It's going to be a lot of fun for a little while, and hopefully they take care of additional content coming out on the game and make sure that they keep the game updated with new features, maybe even some new characters, some new maps, things like that, and we'll see how it goes. This may be one of those types of games that the sequel or 2 or 3 down the road may be the best versions of this game, kind of like Call of Duty and a lot of franchises. Once they see what works and what doesn't, they can come out with some better, more in-depth gameplay that will have a whole lot more staying power in the game. So I'll wrap it up there for today. I just wanted to do kind of a quick thoughts video and a quick introduction video to the game. If you can, please like and subscribe to the videos. I'd like to do more of these in the future as I pick up games and learn those games, especially when there's something a little out of the ordinary. Thanks again for watching, and you have a great day.